Combating meme makers is different than rebutting newspaper columnists.
Well, it looked like open stadium up top. Little teeny eeny beeny Brian Stelter is upset. You know why? Because of mean memes.
So wait. Did y'all hear that? This video is brought to you by Extreme Tees. Click on the link below. Make sure you put Kevin in the promo code and you'll get a 20% discount. Now something ain't adding up right, is it? Stocks are at record highs, but the government just brought $5 trillion. Inflation is transitory, but just went up to 6.8%. And how much did your wages go up? Gas? Electric? Well, a precious metal IRA with Noble Gold will help you avoid the worst of this. And this month, Noble Gold is giving away a free American, the beautiful, solid silver 5-ounce coin with any qualifying plan you start. And all you got to do is start by calling 877-646-5347 or visit our website at noblegoldinvestments.com. Now, let's get to this video. What's going on, America? Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And you heard it right. Little teeny, eeny, weeny, yellow polka dot bikini, Brian Stelter thought it was a good idea to come out and talk about, the state of America and how, people are being influenced by all of these memes and stuff that might be hurting Joe Biden's poll numbers. So apparently, America and all the citizens that disapprove of Joe Biden's performance, we're so simple-minded that we can be completely swayed by memes. That's right, y'all. We don't have the means to make sure that we resist the memes. Y'all see? Apparently, just like they whined about Russia collusion in those ads that they took out on Facebook, turned the whole election against Hillary, and she complained about those memes too. So memes are mean to the left and to the Democrats because, they lack the sense of humor, the ability to relate to common people, and all of those things. And so Brian Stelter, being the person that CNN uses to poop-poopy-doo. Why don't you come up and see me sometime, big boy? Yeah, he's the person that CNN uses to do that, He decides to come out and embarrass himself by trying to do a segment talking about the, memes and what should be done and how they're influencing our culture. So, let's give a little second to little Brian Stelter to see if what he's talking about has some validity. So, here we go.
What is the meta story of President Biden's first year?
Okay. Oh, that's not a good look. That's pretty meta right there. Oh, yeah. And who could forget that? Oh, yeah. Oh, great solution. But you know what? I shouldn't be showing these
story,
memes.
meaning the all-encompassing narrative of Biden's presidency.
Was that a potato head? Ooh, 38%. Wait a minute. What brain dead idiot destroys entire nation? Death of George Floyd.
What's the takeaway?
13 U.S. citizens. That's a good takeaway right there.
What's the story about all the stories?
Oh, I would destroy America. No, I would destroy America. I beat you to it.
What's the main impression you get from all the daily headlines and hate tweets?
What impression do we get? Things that you wonder, how did they get? Oh, there's Joe down at the bottom.
Is it America rebounding?
Ooh, I don't know about that. Let's see. 1 year ago, we had peace, Iran in the box. Look at all of that. I don't think we're rebounding as I read that list.
Or is it America on the wrong track?
Oh, could we be? Yeah, we did give away a lot of our equipment.
First, let's admit that the American media has a tremendous amount of power.
That's true. They do. And this is exactly what they're doing with their power. Trying to kill free speech. Well, look at that. I can't believe you shot an eagle on the 9th, but what is this? Is this Anderson Pooper right at the bottom? Yep, that's something CNN would do. Trump shot 9 bald eagles. Wow, it's funny how they come up with all these narratives and take Trump and the rest of us completely out of context. But maybe little Brian Stelter has a point. Should I be showing all these memes during this? Because, he is saying that it's mean to use memes. So we don't want to offend open stadium up top. So let's continue.
In shaping the meta story of the presidency.
Oh, fact checking work. Oh, it's not working. So what should we do? Label them extremists. Oh, what is that? Falsified numbers?
Maybe that's why so many liberals are so frustrated right now.
Oh, they're frustrated because of that? Oh, they have been pretty silent, y'all. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that could be it too. killing jobs and reversing all executive orders. I mean, it's a lot. That's a lot. Ooh, maybe Brian didn't see
Worried
that
about
list.
Biden's poll numbers, irritated at the media's framing.
Oh, yeah, because it sucks. Look at that. Look at their framing. This is, and then look at all that rioting stuff. Mostly, right in the middle. Not you. So that means that the folks that were there on the 6th, I guess, that they are not included in this peaceful protest. And then the rest of it, peaceful protests, not riot. The media framed that, right? So all that fire and stuff is what? Just barn fires and roasting marshmallows? No wonder people just don't trust the media. And that means, right, this speaks volumes. It lets us know kind of the sum of it all, and that's probably why Brian is upset about all these memes. Let's continue.
And concerned that Biden isn't doing enough to shape his
Now,
own
why would
story.
they come to that conclusion? Okay, congratulations, Taliban Employee of the Month. Oh, what? Wait a minute, Corona ain't working. Switch back to racism. Oh, Democrats pushing for
If
mass since
Biden's
1880.
strategy is quiet,
It's true.
his detractors are trying to be loud.
Oh, loud. What? Oh, yeah. Those illegal immigrants are pretty loud about that. Oh, I failed you for 47 years, and I will do it for
Making the
another.
meta story about a guy who failed to deliver.
That's pretty funny. It don't seem like he can deliver much right there, except some ice cream. But let's continue.
It is increasingly a country with many alternative facts.
Like what? Oh, you mean the Biden administration about to give $450,000 to illegal immigrants? I wonder if little Brian Stelter decided to touch on that fact. Interesting. Okay, let's continue though.
Disproving viral tweets is different than debunking a TV ad.
It is. I wonder about this. Oh, I don't want my kids growing up in a racial jungle. Did little
Combating
Brian cover
meme
that?
makers is different than rebutting newspaper columnists.
It is? Oh, telling you right now, Joe. Wait, I got to do it in his voice. Listen, I'm telling you right now, Joe. My name better not be on your dumb kids' computer. Okay, let's continue though.
And the memes are pretty powerful
They are?
sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty powerful because that does look just like little Brian Stelter.
My suburban grocery stores never had empty shelves like that. But
Okay.
the messaging here saying that Biden is to blame for anything bad about the economy, it is clearly sticking to some degree. Even though economists believe GDP is going to surge this quarter, even though the American recovery is historically strong
Tough
after
sell,
the
Brian.
pandemic,
This right here is a tough sale. I mean, I know you are skilled in the arts of prostitution, but I don't know if your skirt's short enough to sell on this one because you trying to tell us that what our eyes are seeing and what our pockets are filling isn't real. You're doing exactly what you're accusing others of doing. Is manipulating us, taking advantage of your raggedy audience, taking advantage of ignorance, and completely carrying water for the Democrat Party. It sounds to me like Brian Stelter is not a news commentator or a reporter. It sounds like he's a propagandist, a PR person, and a spokesperson for the Biden administration, as he obviously is trying to downplay what folks are actually experiencing and seeing out of this administration. He's trying to tell us that the doo-doo he's feeding us is not doo-doo. It's chocolate. He's trying to tell us those gas prices aren't real. They're fictions of our imagination. That's what he's trying to do to us. And I'm offended. And then got the nerve to try to blame it on some memes. Even though these memes do say a lot, that's why I'm using. Oh, wait, let's continue. I won't get distracted. Okay, so what's this? That could have contributed to a lot of this. Shut up, Joe. I just checked with my lawyers. The government doesn't have the authority to force vaccines on anyone. Interesting. Okay, see you in court, tough guy. P.S. Don't think this makes us forget Afghanistan either. Oh, that's pretty. See, now, this is what I'm talking about. We got some points with these memes, see? Because little Brian is trying to tell us that we somehow done pegged Joe to be wrong. And we looked at him and we came to some wrong conclusions, I guess. He's not as bad as we think. The Afghanistan thing, the forced lockdowns and mass mandates and all of those things. The list goes on. Yeah, we got it all wrong. And Brian's job is to make us see it differently. Not the way it really is, but differently. Wow. Good old Joe.
The meta story is that we are in choppy waters. As Jonathan Chait wrote in this New York Magazine cover story, nobody can ascertain exactly why the public has turned so sour so fast. He said Biden is like a patient wasting away from some undiagnosable disease. American trust in the mass media is at its lowest point since 2016 and near a record low overall. Think about it. Almost everyone trusts some form of media. Everyone trusts something. It's just that many people trust CNN and many others trust Fox.
We tell you it is.
Even though we're not really two sides of the same coin.
No, you're not.
So it's obvious that when pollsters ask about the media as a whole, the results are abysmal.
Shut up. I've had enough of you.
President Biden's Democracy Summit is coming up next month, and one of the phrases you're likely to hear is Democratic backsliding.
What's that?
Democracies don't just devolve into autocracies with the flick of a light switch. It's not on or off.
They don't.
It's more like a dimmer. And in the United States, it is getting darker.
Oh, yes.
This week, a Stockholm-based think tank said the U.S. now ranks as a backsliding democracy.
What?
Just like India, Brazil, and Hungary.
But little Brian talking about backsliding and stuff. He talking as if the United States is a big old fat church and folks are backsliding. And I wonder how. I wonder why. Who let the devil into the church? See, I was up here singing, shut the door, keep out the devil, shut the door, keep the devil in the night. And then those Democrats somehow creeped in, just like Satan, and just start unraveling everything. And now he's talking about the America's backsliding. Who's responsible for that? Who is talking about long-term abortions and transgender bathrooms and little kids being whatever and all of that stuff? Who's abusing all of their power and authority to demonize American citizens and all of that stuff? Who's running around slinging racism all over the place, calling everybody a white nationalist, white supremacist? Who's doing it? Who's doing all of that? So if there's some backsliding going on, it sure isn't coming from us. But little Brian seems to think he knows who it's coming from.
The U.S. has fallen victim to authoritarian tendencies, the report says, and was knocked down on the Democratic scale.
From where?
Partly by Donald Trump in 2019.
I hope that CNN become born again as a good media.
Me too, Kaiva, but I don't think it's going to happen. So little Brian here is blaming Donald Trump for us backsliding, right? Now, isn't it crazy, though, that all the characteristics of a authoritarian really applies to the Democrats and not Trump? I don't believe that it was Trump who is demanding that folks get the mots. I don't believe it was Trump that wanted to shut down and destroy businesses and keep kids out of school. I don't believe it was Trump that was pushing for censorship. I don't believe that it was Trump who were parroting narratives such as gun control and things like that. Why would a dictator do that? Well, I mean, I would think the first thing he would want to do by getting in office is silent speech and, of course, get guns out of the hands of citizens. Now, isn't that crazy, though, how the Democrats are doing all of this? I don't believe that it was Trump that tried to expand the Supreme Court, tried to destroy all of our norms, redistricting, talking about making Washington a state, lowering the voting age, getting rid of all of the power of the states and putting it all into the hands of the federal government. I don't believe it was Trump that did that. I don't believe it was Trump that was winking at all of the anarchy in the streets and all of the burning and stuff that was going on. But I do believe it was CNN and MSNBC and others that were calling those things that we obviously saw with our eyes peaceful protests. And yet Brian here is trying to project and say that, yeah, if we're backsliding, it's because of Trump. It's because of Trump. He's a dictator. Now, that's interesting because Kaiva said that she wished CNN could be born again as a good media, but I think they might be in a reprobate state. It might be too late for them. So let's take it from someone who knows a little bit about an authoritative government that's really, implementing tyranny. Look at this. This is an interview on PBS, and I think this reporter here wanted to get it from this gentleman. He's obviously from China, I believe. And she wants to get his take on, was it Trump responsible for all of this and stuff? Let's see.
In your book, you're describing the directives of Mao Zedong during the Cultural Revolution that would be distributed publicly every night. And then you write, this is your quote, they served a function similar to Donald Trump's late night tweets while in office. They were the direct communication of a leader's thoughts to his devoted followers, enhancing the sanctity of his authority.
Now, this lady right here obviously takes it as, well, since he said that, meaning since when China was becoming an authoritative communist country, they would get the messaging out constantly to their people. Now, he didn't talk about the nature of the messaging, the meaning of the messaging, rather the messaging that Donald Trump was serving was evil and trying to drive people into, embracing him as a tyrant and a dictator. Or could it be that Trump was in great communication with his people, and because a lot of the folks that support Trump love Trump, they enjoy getting these tweets, and that's how he communicated to his people. So she's going to insert which she think he's implying, and let's see how he responds.
So, do you see Donald Trump as an authoritarian?
Oh.
I don't, if you're authoritarian, you have to have a system in supporting you.
Oh.
You cannot just be an authoritarian by yourself.
So what are you saying, man? Are you telling me that insurrection, even though when they tried to impeach Trump, and his lawyers got up there and read the real definition of an insurrection, it didn't meet the criteria that they were trying to say? Because, see, if you are a dictator, one, you wouldn't be silenced. If you were a authoritarian, Facebook and YouTube and all of those platforms wouldn't be able to silence you. They wouldn't be able to do that to Hitler or Mussolini or Mao or any of those people, not even Putin, not Kim Jong-un, not Xi, none of them. The Lee Ayatollah, they wouldn't be censored by any of those platforms, but yet Trump was. If Trump was like she's trying to paint him to be, then he would have never left office. He would have never had Comey and all of them setting him up. He would have the media who gets out there like little potato head Brian Stelter and lies on him all the time. Those dudes would have disappeared. They would have been gone. So all of the stuff that this lady is, hoping that this guy will back up to support what she's trying to imply that Trump really is and tried to be a dictator, it doesn't apply, because you can't just be a dictator by yourself. When the Democrats were able to pull off all of the garbage that they pulled off and use all of these elements to help them do it, like the media, academia, entertainment, all of these, that shows that you have an infrastructure put in place to be a real insurrectionist. This right here, what she's trying to imply, no, Trump, he's out of office. Now, how did that ever happen? Because he didn't have the support of all of the insurrectionists that the Democrats have. See, so, and yet they want to tell us that a ragtag team of some folks going into the Capitol with some MAGA hats and cell phones were insurrectionists, and once they would have captured that Capitol, we would have never got it back. We'd have never got it back, because they would have had all the resources to hold it down as authoritarian regime, right? See, all I'm asking is people just use their common sense, like this man right here.
But certainly in United States, with today's condition, you can easily have an authoritarian. In many ways, you're already in the authoritarian state.
What?
You just don't know it.
Just don't know it.
How so?
Many things happens today in US can be compared to cultural revolution in China.
What?
Like what?
Like what?
Like people trying to be unified in certain political correctness. That is very
dangerous. Now, did you hear that? I bet you she wasn't ready for that. She wasn't ready for it. She probably thought he was going to come in and bash Trump and say Trump was the one that's trying to implement tyranny and all of that stuff. And yet, he said, a lot of folks in America don't even realize we're already in one. When we hear Brian Stelter come out and try to silence the mouth of conservatives, alternative news networks, when we hear them talking about the power of memes, and they're dangerous. When we hear them coming out trying to label every conservative that was up there on the Capitol as a insurrectionist and a terrorist, domestic terrorist, when no one was charged of any of those things. When we sit back and hear them try to paint a narrative about an innocent 17-year-old that won his case because the facts and the evidence showed it was self-defense, and yet CNN just won't embrace it because They have their own narrative and the things that they want everybody else to think. See, when we see all of this for the people that have their eyes open, go, folks don't even realize we're living in 1984. Folks don't realize the very peanut head open stadium built like a big old bag of chewed bubble gum, little yellow polka dot bikini. Brian Stelter is a part of what that man was just talking about. Trying to control thoughts and speech and a whole heap of projection. Now let's wrap this video.
CNN viewers, your brain on CNN are experiencing a backwards reality.
Yes,
Brian Stelter is literally arguing that America is backsliding out of democracy, while in the same breath, during the same segment, is arguing for, I'm assuming along the side what Hillary Clinton was arguing, for gatekeepers in the media or probably in the government to combat memes. You know, right-wing memes that use comedy and imagery and, of course, free speech and free expression to expose hypocrisy and poke fun at these media talking heads like Potato Brian Stelter himself. That can't exist in a democracy.
No.
We must combat those memes.
And just like that, my final meme, this is my president. And those memes are powerful. Yeah, man. So, there you have it, y'all. Little Brian Stelter, his weak, very weak attempt to throw mud on memes and try to combat those memes, because they do have a place. They're very powerful. They're short. It don't rely on people having a long attention span. And they sum up and capture every single thing that we see and feel. And for whatever reason, that liberal brain just cannot figure out how to create a meme that can do that. Because it's hard to create a meme when you are full of lies and deceit. See, a meme is only a good meme if it's funny and it's true at the same time. It's like a joke where you go, man, that is hilarious, but it's funny because it's true. But when you don't have any truth and you try to meme, people go, what? I don't understand what you were trying to do. All you hear is crickets and that Price is Right theme music. Dun, 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 dun. So, Brian, you get the big old fat dun 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 sound of the day. Now God bless y'all. We'll see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. And y'all don't be too mean with those memes, okay? Now God bless y'all. Don't forget to hit that like button, share my videos. Also, don't forget to donate if you like Kevin's Corner. There are links in the bottom of this video. Check out Extreme Teas, my sponsor. If you like the products, put Kevin in the promo code. You'll get a 20% discount. And what else? Oh, find me on Rumble in the Jungle. All right, God bless you all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care.